Hey everybody, it's Philip. It's 10 p.m. here on Saturday night. This is stock footage, but I'm coming in here to tell you that we saw a change in the bluefin tuna, about 18 fish today on the full day boat San Diego, and I have just talked to the Highliner. They've got 14 bluefin tuna on deck and 4 fish going right now. Hopefully this thing is starting to bounce back and bite again. It's been a little bit slow here recently. A couple of guys have had some decent scores, but overall it's been on the slower side. But good signal and sign. San Diego 18 fish, the Highliner with 14 and 4 going right now tonight. We'll keep you informed with all the latest. Don't forget, lots more on the morning briefing tomorrow morning.
Hey, good Sunday morning, everybody. What a foggy morning it is. And who left these flowers here for me? Getting ready for the MB. And there is a lot to talk about on this foggy morning. Big bluefin tuna, and they were biting last night. Some great fishing going on. We'll have that for you. Those yellows at San Clemente Island are ripping up some tackle. There's still some white sea bass around. We'll get a live update from Daniel Hadaway on the Island Spirit. July the 6th, we've got a surf fishing event coming up. And there's my buddy Jeff. I haven't seen him for a long, long time. It's good to see him. The MB is coming up next. Stay tuned, everybody. Hey, good Sunday morning, everybody. Welcome to beautiful Surfside, California on this foggy morning. It's gorgeous, though. Behind me, I see the pelicans hitting the water and those white termbirds flashing on bait. It looks like it's going to be fairly active here. And we've got news about an event, surf fishing, on July the 6th. That's the free fishing license day. You don't need a fishing license to fish July the 6th, and we're going to have a great event here in Surfside. Details coming up. You're going to want to join us for that one. There was some great fishing going on last night for some of the boats. We'll cover that. I was talking to Max on the Highliner, and Max said, Phil, we got 14 on deck, 4 going. Gotta go. Ended up with limits on the Highliner. I just let you know that right now. 40 to 60 pounders. Also at San Clemente Island, we continue to see those big yellows ripping tackle up, making Jeff Markland on the Thunderbird pull what little hair he's got left out because of the tackle failures that were going on. We'll talk about his day, and we'll talk about the necessity for brand new line and good tackle. It makes all the difference in the world. There's been some sea bass. Captain Daniel Hadaway from the Island Spirit will be joining us, talking some barracuda and rockfish up in the Channel Islands. We'll go south of the border where the La Paz bite is late on Dorado, but it's starting to happen. Some great fishing in Ensenada and so much more. You know what time it is. It is time for the morning briefing. Good morning, my friends. It's also time for that lovely cup of coffee. There's a lot of people out walking up and down the beach here early this Sunday morning. Man, it's a great and beautiful morning. I can't thank you enough for hitting that like button, for sharing these videos with a friend. That helps us to get into other people's homes, and that means a lot to us. Subscribe to the Friedman Adventures YouTube channel, and also tick that little bell. You'll be notified when there is new content. And of course, you can watch us on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok, and Apple Podcast and Spotify. Wow, we got a lot to cover with you all. First of all, our Apollo video dropped last night, and it's a great one. You're going to enjoy the great bluefin tuna action. You'll learn how to pull on those fish. You'll meet Captain Ryan Block. You'll see Jesse almost get pulled overboard by a bluefin tuna, and so much more. Check out that Apollo video. We had a great 2.5-day trip. Can't wait to do that one in September out of Seaforth Sport Fishing in San Diego. A few spots left on that trip. You want to join us for a 2-day in September out of Seaforth on the Apollo? Send me a text ASAP. I mean it. 657-227-6459. Unfiled taxes. You want to talk to our friend Tim Marquez. Tim will take care of everything for you. He's been doing this for 35 years, a best income tax. And, man, it's getting hot, isn't it? If you got heating or air conditioning needs, you want to contact John Lopez at Efficient Heating and Air Conditioning. John's going to take great care of you. All right, let's go way south. I just want to go down to see my friends Jillian and Jonathan Roldan down there at Tail Hunter International. Two of the finest human beings that you'll ever meet. And Jonathan says, thank God. The Dorado finally showed up. Man, did they show up. They are nibbling down here for Tail Hunter International in La Paz. But Jonathan points out that it's really late this year. And man, that is a common theme. It's so weird to me how connected everything is. We're having a late season here. Things are manifesting themselves slowly but surely. We hit the gas pedal, we see fishing take off, and then it backs off. And we haven't yet to see any kind of local barracuda for LA Orange County base landings in any kind of numbers. And the same thing is going on down in La Paz with a late season. But they're catching Dorado, and that is good to see. My best to you guys down there. Hopefully I'll be able to come down and join you one of these days very, very soon. Well, let's go 70 miles south of the border to the coastal town of Ensenada. Few bluefin tuna here and there. Some days are better than others. You got to get out, you got to search around, and you got to get them to bite in the daytime, which they did yesterday, a little bit better than they have been. But again, the consistency that we've been looking for, and it's been hard to find. You can still get offshore and find some of that bluefin tuna, but you've got to really pay attention. You got to be scanning the horizon, looking all around, and trying to find birds picking or fish up on the surface foaming. You find that, and you got a real chance. Most of their bluefin come on the trolled Mad Max style lures. That has been the best way to get the job done down there. But you can also throw like a Daiwa Sakana or a Colt Sniper when you roll up on some fish. Don't throw it with anything less than 60 pound. You want to be fishing heavy line when you're throwing an iron, because while some of the fish are 20 pounders, some exceed 100 pounds. There's still yellows racing all around. Sometimes you find them, sometimes you don't. And again, become part of it by looking around and trying to find a bird school and pointing your pongero in the right direction. Most of the time they're going to find it before you do, but it's just kind of fun to try and help out a little bit. Those yellows down there have been nice, 15 to 20 plus pound fish, a lot of iron biters. Throwing the Fierro has been the best way to make it happen. So once again, some pretty good yellow action going on. And we keep mentioning to you, as you look at the Little Horse sport fishing, Ensenada, Baja California Norte, the guys on the Little Horse are showing the variety that you can catch if you want to stay inshore. Sheep's head, whitefish, calico bass, sand bass, barracuda, big bonita, those yellowtail. Man, I'll tell you, it is so tempting to stay inshore. In fact, if I were down there this morning, I would be doing just that. I would stay inshore and fish for that variety. It's really fun, tons of action. You know, the bluefin tuna thing is a hit and miss kind of situation right now. So staying inshore is another great option available to you, as you can see on the Little Horse. So keep that in mind. Hey, July the 6th, I don't have all the details worked out. Looks like it's going to be a 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. event right here in Surfside, California, where I film the morning briefing. 10 a.m. is going to put us in the perfect position for the high tide that day. And get this, everybody, you don't need a fishing license. So if you want to bring a newbie down to try surf fishing here, and man, I've seen some ripper bites around the 4th of July, especially on yellowfin croaker down here. If you want to come down and try it, this will be the time for you. We're still putting the details together, but again, stay tuned for that. July the 6th. Mark it on your calendar right now, right here in Surfside. Tomorrow I'll have that all firmed up for you, exactly what's going on. We're going to have breakfast burritos for you. We're going to ask for a donation for that. Make any donation you want, or if you happen to be having a hard time, just take a burrito and enjoy it. There'll be a little donation box there. You can throw some cash in there if you want. We're going to use that to help us transport more goods to Mexico as we continue our efforts with clothing, medical supplies, and so much more, all going to Mexico, all thanks to you. So July the 6th, you're going to want to mark that on your calendar. Long-range fishing's been good. 8-day trips way down there like the American Angler with our friend Danny Cadota, putting the herd on big yellowtail. And they've also had yellowfin tuna and grouper and a great variety of other fish. Long-range fishing's been good. And a lot of guys finish their 8-day, 9-day trips off by coming up and fishing bluefin, which is taking place, you know, in a couple of areas. There's a 50-mile zone from San Diego. I'm going to get into that with you right now. And then there's also that really big fish up toward San Clemente Island, and even west of there right now. I mean, 150, 200-pound BFT. All right, let's jump in to that bite with you right now and talk bluefin tuna out of San Diego. Late last night, Max wouldn't let me get any sleep on the Highliner, man. It's keeping me up all night long with their great bite. They had really good fishing. When I talked to Max, I think it was around 10 p.m. Yeah, it was 10 p.m. They were in a good bite. They had 14 bluefin tuna on deck. They had 4 fish hanging, and it just kept getting better and better and better till shortly after midnight. They were limited out on bluefin tuna, 40 to 60 pound fish, biting those smaller profile jigs really well, like 200 to 350 gram jigs, working really, really well. We're talking HD lures from West Coast Jiggers. We're talking Daiwa SK lures working pretty darn well. I'm telling you, it's been excellent. Last night they hammered them hard. Several other boats got in on it. Several boats missed. It's been that kind of a situation here right now, but there's a lot of fish around, and there's a lot of that 40 to 60 pound grade fish. You can catch those things, number one. Not that you can't catch a 200 pounder, but I mean, they're catchable. Let's put it that way. And also, they seem to bite with greater ferocity. We're seeing really some excellent fishing. And once again, there's been some really good fishing. Now, there's also been some daytime fishing going on. It has been so hit and miss for those full day guys, and they work their tails to the bone. You know, just because they're missing on boats like the San Diego and the Liberty, and they got them yesterday, I'm going to talk to you about that right now. But just because they're missing, it's not for a lack of trying. It is not for a lack of effort. In fact, I've been on crews where you work harder on those days than you do when they're biting. It really is frustrating and hard to do. But yesterday, the San Diego found some biting fish, and I'm talking fish that were 18, or they had 18 fish on board, 20 to 40 to 60 pound stuff, and extremely finicky, like dropping down to 20, 25 pound, 20 maybe a little bit light, but 25 pound, and small hooks in addition to that. And of course, a really good hot bait made all the difference in the world. So now we're going to ask you to bring your 25 pound, your 40 pound, and I would still bring something with 80 or 100 on it, because you just never know. Now, hopefully, we're going to see more of that going on here this morning. We're hoping that the San Diego and the rest of the boys get in on it. And the rest of the fleet also can focus in on some daytime fishing. But it's been very inconsistent and hasn't been biting with any kind of real consistency. Let's put it that way. It just has been one day you get them, and then a couple days you don't. We'll keep our eyes on it. They also had some of that big bonita, so that is really great news. Way to go on the San Diego. Hopefully they're getting them again today. Don't forget, you're going to need a little bit lighter tack on some smaller hooks, because these fish are very, very finicky. And if you're going to go with a hook, one that we recommend is Trocar by Eagle Claw. They are strong. They are sharp. That is one fine hook for fishing these bluefin tuna, whether it's those 200 pounders or the smaller grade fish. Trocar will make it happen for you. All right, so good signal and sign there. Let's talk a little bit about the islands. Coronado Islands, starting to see some more and more yellowtail there. The conditions have finally cleaned up. Talking to the guys on the Mission Bell, they are switching from offshore right now to the islands. They're picking at the yellows there. Some days I think they're going to end up with, over 20 yellows, because that water has cleaned up and warmed up. It looks really good. There's some good calico bass fishing, and you can also come up with rockfish to round out the catch, including lings and reds and so much more. So Coronado Island's looking pretty good. So we look at San Clemente Island. Jeff Markland on board the Thunderbird wanted to tear his hair out because they had so many losses yesterday. Old line and button down drags and, yada, yada, yada. So make sure if you're going fishing, make sure your tackle is up to snuff, okay? You want to be fishing those yellows at San Clemente Island. Let's focus on that for a moment. You don't want to fish that with anything less than 60 pound. I guess you could fish 50. I would be dropper loop fishing. This is that early morning bite. You got plenty of squiddly diddly over there right now. And that squid, of course, is a magnet, and that's why those yellows are there. It's some big halibut and occasional white sea bass also. But you got plenty of that squid. And that early morning bite, here recently, it's been like a window of 2 or 3 hours, like 4 a.m. to 7 a.m., then it's over. So you had better have great tackle and be up and working hard in those early morning hours to make it happen because we've seen fish up to 50 pounds, damn near 50 pounds. In fact, as you see the cover of our morning briefing today, you can see that giant fish that was caught recently on board the Apollo. So make sure you are fishing heavy tackle. It makes all the difference in the world. Incidentally, that was Bill Christie from Utah. Bill, thank you for sharing that photo. I actually ran that photo a few days ago, but I know you're tuning in this morning. I wanted to put it up there and make it the morning briefing thumbnail. Beautiful, big yellows. You see that size of that fish, you're definitely going to want to be tackled up. 8-ounce torpedo sinkers and a nice big 5-0 hook when you're fishing that yellow, maybe even a bigger hook when you're fishing that dropper loop style fish. The Amigo yesterday, 9 yellowtail, 2 white sea bass, and then during the daytime, plenty of sheepshead and whitefish and some pretty darn good calico bass fishing to go along with it for the guys that are fishing San Clemente Island. I love that bite, and those big yellows are really, really special right now. Catalina Island, we continue to see some halibut, some barracuda, some bonita, not wide open by any stretch of the imagination, but we've seen some decent fishing. The El Patron on a Long Beach sport fishing. Nice day yesterday with 4 halibut, a yellowtail, some good calico bass fishing. They've got some room on their Monday trip, and you'd be wise to jump on board that one. www.longbeachsportfishing.org. Get on the El Patron, the pursuit yesterday with a pick of calico bass. They've been catching some yellowtail, occasional halibut and white sea bass, sheepshead whitefish, that kind of thing going on. So we'll continue to watch that for you very, very closely. Hey, the blackfin, I forgot to mention, or blackfish, I should say, the yacht out of Davies Locker had 20 yellows yesterday at San Clemente Island. They've been doing really, really well. All right, so Kat, you know what's happening there. Up there in the Channel Islands, we're seeing a little bit more barracuda get into the counts. Great shallow water rock fishing and deep water cod fishing. You can put the herd on them. All the boats there in the Channel Islands up to Santa Barbara and the occasional white sea bass. I don't know why it's occasional. I really do not, because there is so much fish around right now. I mean, they continue to see all that white sea bass. Yesterday, the gray light out of Cisco's had 8 white sea bass on board the Aloha Spirit. They also had a little pop on the fish with 7 white sea bass, some nice big ones up there. Also, one of these days that's going to settle in and bite. How about we go to Captain Daniel Hadaway? I talked to him yesterday on board the Island Spirit. They're out right now on their Kids Fish Free Sunday trip. Let's check in with my friend Daniel, and then I'll be back with a lot more, including our surf fishing event coming up next.
Here with a special live update, and we are going to go to one of my favorite people in the world, Captain Daniel Hadaway, on board the Island Spirit out of Ventura Sport Fishing. Your ears must have been burning, Daniel, because Arthur's on the boat. He's been sending me photos about what a great day he had on the Island Spirit, and my brother Paul flew in from Taiwan, and he said, "Let's go back to Ventura and go fishing." So I might see you next week. Who knows? But sounds like you had just an exceptional day. Why don't you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, we did have a good day. We had a nice light load on the boat, about 18 guys, so real friendly bunch, plenty of room. It's always fun to have a light load, get to have a chance to get to know everybody on a more personal level for sure. And yeah, we had good fishing. Started out bottom fishing and got pretty close to limits on cod, probably like 8-9 around on the rockfish, and then decided to switch gears for the last portion of our day, and we're planning on shooting inside to try to fish halibut for a little bit, and we just bumped into the barracuda. Ended up having a little barracuda frenzy at the end of the day, and it was a lot of fun. Pretty much anybody that could throw a jig or fly line a bait had a pretty easy time getting bit. It was fun.
Yeah, that's exactly what Arthur told me. He said, "Man, they were licking the iron big time." Was it you were rolling into fish halibut? You saw bird school, or you saw some evidence of guard jumping out of the water or something? What was it exactly?
Yeah, exactly. There's just a lot of bird life, and we kind of just drove into. I was getting set up on a halibut drift, and then we saw that bird life, and rather than have everyone drop down, we just kept putting towards those birds, and then we saw the barracuda kind of start crashing all over the place. So ended up putting the anchor down on that, and we had some fun fishing for a while.
Man, I could only imagine you were licking your chops when you saw those birds picking, huh? Is is this your best hit? More and more guys are jumping on as we go. Just a little too warmer, and that spells surface fishing. How's that looking?
Yeah, it's continuing to climb. We're at about a 65 last time I looked today, so it's getting a lot warmer. Water's also nice and clean. We were catching a little bit of calico bass to go with that too, so it's fun. Surface fishing is definitely improving. It's shaping up.
Man, that sounds fantastic to me. To drop back and talk about your rockfish bite, do you still have that strong current? Do people need 16, 20 ounces of lead up there?
Yeah, we definitely had to fish in some current today, but the they were chewing. So everybody that dropped down with 16 ounces had no problem getting bites, and we were pulling over steady doubles and plenty of nice rockfish. So it was good.
Darn, I mean, that just sounds like heaven to me, man. I love that combo bite. There's absolutely
Yeah,
nothing like it. Did you find any halibut? See any evidence of that? What's the latest on, let's talk halibut and white sea bass for that matter?
yeah. I believe we hooked one and it got away from us, but we definitely were gonna try to fish halibut for a while. But once that barracuda popped up, we kind of opted for that instead. But I know there was a couple boats at Santa Cruz that did see some sea bass today. No huge numbers or anything, but there was a school of them that bit a little bit for a couple guys that were there early in the morning. But definitely sea bass around. Halibut is still there to be caught if you're willing to put in the time to drift them. And, yeah, same thing. Really good conditions for fishing that halibut right now too. There's just been tons of current lately, and obviously you need that water movement to kind of cover ground and fish halibut efficiently. So the conditions for that kind of fishing are pretty primo right now.
All right, we'll say hi to Mitchell Halibut, man, who's going fishing tomorrow. Thanks for joining us, Mitchell. We really do appreciate it. Tomorrow is Kids Fish Free Day on
Oh
board the
yeah,
Island Spirit. Man, perfect timing, man. If you can get a bite on the rockfish and catch some barracuda in the afternoon, it should be really a spectacular day for the kids. What's the game plan for tomorrow?
yeah. Game plan for tomorrow, guys. We may try to fish bass for a little bit in the morning. We might start off pretty close to the harbor there. Excuse me. Maybe trying to fish for sand bass for a little bit, see if that wants to bite with the water temperature increasing and excuse me, and us having live bait. We may try to fish some sand bass for a little while, and then probably go try to maybe rock fish for a little bit, and then go back into bass slash barracuda mode later in the day.
All right, Daniel, what a great report. As always, thank you so much. You're going to love fishing on board the Island Spirit. They do such a great job up there. Island Spirit out of Ventura Sport Fishing, 805 676 3474. You should get out with those guys and have a ball. We're going to have another trip coming up here very, very soon. It may be a Paulina trip. Paulina's my co host in Mexico. When I go to Mexico, she co-hosts with me, and she's fantastic. She's not only a great angler, but a really great human being. She helps us a lot with the distribution of goods that we send to Mexico. And I think late August, we're almost got that planned out. We may be on the Island Spirit on a Friday. That would be a lot of fun to see you on that one. So some great fishing up there in the Channel Islands. Also, take a look. California yesterday. Man, I'll tell you, the California is the old Matt Walsh, runs out of Ventura Sport Fishing. They had a little pop on the barracuda. They had some delicious hamburgers down in the galley. They filleted your whitefish and sheep's head on the way in. Remember, the old Matt Walsh, now the Californian, out of Ventura Sport Fishing. A lot of fun, and more barracuda starting to show up in that neck of the woods. Hopefully, that's going to continue. All right, let's talk local fishing. We'll start down in San Diego, where there has been some superior calico bass fishing. The bass bite down there has been outstanding, as evidenced by all those bass you're looking at on board the Daily Double. Out of Point Loma Sport Fishing, the local bass bite has been fast and furious. Of course, you want to, on a normal day, fish light line, choose a good hot bait, but to be perfectly candid with you, these fish are biting the bait. They're biting the surface iron. They're biting the plastics. They are full speed down there right now. Really great fishing on the Daily Double, who's going to run a 3/4 day special trip on the 4th of July. 3/4 day trip. That promises to be a lot of fun. Guaranteed great calico bass fishing. And they've also, yesterday, had a white sea bass. There's been some yellowtail around, new Seaforth with some yellows and white sea bass here recently. And also just really great calico bass fishing. If you're a calico bass angler, now's the time to head to San Diego. Rick, or I should say Nick, Friedman Adventures family member Ramirez on the Redondo special, having an absolute ball. Nick's enthusiasm is contagious. He's such a great person. He's out there helping other anglers. He helps Michael Limon all the time. He's a great guy and does so many great things for people. Love him, and he was out having a good time. The other night, Marcus Fain was on the Redondo special, and they had really great calico bass fishing on a twilight run. Calico bass fishing here up and down the coast, as we mentioned, San Diego's really good right now. Also some good fishing in Oceanside, Dana Wharf. Up here in the Long Beach and Pedro area, still kind of slow on our local scene. Gorgeous ocean today. I know it's foggy, but you don't see much wind and it looks calm. So hopefully one of these days we're going to get a barracuda bite going. As we mentioned, it's slow down there in La Paz. It's slow just about everywhere we look. You're looking down the barrel. If what I think is going to happen is you're going to have an exceptional fall bite this year, right on into October and beyond probably. It's going to be really good. Things slow to start, but hopefully it's going to continue. As we move you up, we mentioned Redondo, Marina del Rey with some bass. A lot of shallow water rockfish in here, sheep's head whitefish, that kind of thing has been biting pretty darn well up and down the coast, and we kind of covered that Channel Island with Daniel and everybody else already, so you know what is going on there. All right, don't forget, if you need to order some jigs, you need to order some hoop nets, not quite yet, I know that, gaffs, new jigs, yeah, promarahi.com, and their new GT4 fluorocarbon. Man, I'll tell you, that's the very best fluoro you can fish. You get extra line for a more economical price. Also, you can pick it up at Island Fishing Tackle and other places, or you can just go online to promarahi.com. Don't forget, put in FA, Friedman Adventures, FA at checkout, and you'll get 10% off of your bill. Apollo video is up for you in the Southern California surf. We're seeing more and more yellowfin croaker, some good corbina fishing, occasional halibut, spot fin croaker biting on the bait. Today would be an exceptional day to be doing that, and you can get all the bait and tackle you'll need down there at Big Fish Bait and Tackle on the corner of Seal Beach Boulevard and Pacific Coast Highway. They've got all the tackle you'll need. And don't forget, a monthly contest. You're going to win a brand new, beautiful custom surf fishing rod if you catch the biggest fish this month. Coming to an end now, the biggest halibut next month. I'm guessing corbina, but I don't know what they have planned. You go to Big Fish, you purchase your ruler, and you're in the tournament. Make sure you do that and get in on this thing every single month. It's free after that. You just buy the ruler, and then you're in. And every month of this year, maybe December not, but every month pretty much, they're going to give away a brand new, custom, beautiful surf fishing rod. Some good stuff. July the 6th, we'll be meeting right here for that event. And as I say, I think it'll start around 10 a.m. High tide that day is around 11:30. So we'll fish that window from before the high to right after the high. And that should be a lot of fun. I'll have all those details for you, where you park, how you find us, all of that razzmatazz coming up on subsequent shows. And we can't wait to do that with you all. All right, what can I tell you? A nice hit for the Highliner, and a couple other guys got in on that also last night. That is great to hear. Don't forget, tackle up on these big yellows and that bluefin tuna. You spend all this money and time to go fishing. Spend a little bit more. Make sure your tackle is in order and you've got all the right stuff. And heavy tackle is essential in some cases. And then, as we mentioned on the San Diego, those bluefin are getting a little finicky, so some lighter stuff is in order. All right, have a beautiful Sunday. Thank you so much for joining us. I can't wait to see you on July the 6th down here. That's a free fishing license day. No fishing license required. July the 6th. That's going to be fantastic. Have a great and beautiful Sunday. Thanks for sharing these videos. Hit that like button, and I hope to see you really, really soon.